What up, crypto lovers and enthusiasts? Happy Monday, beginning of the week. I'm always looking at the markets, right? Over the weekend, I thought we could have a bullish week, and so far we are starting out the week pretty bullish. Bitcoin is at new all-time highs. A new day, a new all-time highs, and Bitcoin is now clearly over previous all-time highs. We're going to take a look at that chart. We're going to take a look at the weekly close because that closed at all-time highs as well. Things are looking pretty good. We're going to take a look at the possible catalyst and maybe some possible bumps in the road this week. We're going to look ahead there, and we're going to take a look at what I did as far as what I bought over the weekend. I did make some buys. I did make a couple of moves. I'll share that with you, and we're going to take a look at altcoins that are Tectum, Trias, or AI Chain. And we're going to take a look at Soonverse as well. All right, so we got a lot to cover. And so without further ado, let's do this. Bitcoin clearly, look how beautiful that. I love that. Clearly over, right? So since we broke through this on 20th of February, right? We pretty much have gone just consistently up this whole time. A lot of interest, a lot of strength, right? And I thought, the first time we probably weren't going to break it. These were the last 2 days. I thought more or less on Friday that we'd probably see some sideways, right? Because it is the weekend, no ETFs or anything like that. And then this morning, today, well, when I woke up, it was already like this, 71,800. How high did it go? 72,000. So 72,000 something is the new all-time high. Since 5th of March, we've had three all-time highs, and now today is the fourth, and I think that's going to continue because now we are in price discovery. What are some of the catalysts? Well, one of the catalysts is MicroStrategy bought 12,000 more Bitcoin. So that's obviously going to help this week. This week we should probably see some good inflows, and there's not that many sell orders currently. Well, as of yesterday, on the books for Binance and other. My computer turned off for Binance and other exchanges. So that's interesting. Now, a couple of bumps on the road. Inflation data, possible bumps on the road. Inflation data is going to come out on Tuesday, and preliminary info suggests, or data suggests, that inflation is going to remain high. That the inflation is going to remain high, which suggests that interest rate cuts are not imminent. Okay, so the market is waiting for interest rate cuts because that's just going to add more fuel to the fire. But it seems like we might be waiting a little bit longer than expected, and it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts to that. But things are looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the weekly on Bitcoin, and look at that. That's amazing. I'm panning out, right? And this is a line that I've talked about in my TA, and this is kind of like my happy box right here. I've had this for a while. If you watch my stuff, I've had this for a while, and this is more or less the sweet spot where I think Bitcoin where I will be buying 200 days usually after. I expect that we should be around here, and this is more or less where we're going to top out at, and this is where I will be making the majority of my sells. Okay, it's interesting that this ascending line kind of leads up to this. All right, so whether we have the blow off top closer here, right, or here, which is in late 2025, I will be ready, and I will be ready to sell. And look how awesome this looks, right? Week after week. This is the highest weekly close. This is the current week. The highest weekly close that we had was, I believe, was this one right here. Yeah, for March 4th, and this is for March 11th. I believe this is the week of March 11th. So this is a new week, and this will probably be the highest weekly close ever, breaking this one, which is interesting. The previous one to that was, yeah, see right here. These were the previous highs, weekly closes, and you can see here clearly that this one was much higher. So pretty cool to see. And this one that we're currently in will be even higher than that. And this is cool to see. Are we heading into? I thought we'd be heading into the halving down here, 40-50 range, just below this line. But it seems we're not. We have taken a couple of steps. We have taken the elevator up, a few steps up, and we are up here, all-time highs, and clearly in price discovery. It'll be interesting to see what happens I'm pretty bullish, and everything that I'm looking at looks to be pretty bullish. So we are, as far as I can see, we are not yet at the top. Okay, we are not yet at the top. There's still a lot more to go, and this is considering that Bitcoin miners are continuously selling, and it makes sense for them to sell because they're at new all-time highs. The Bitcoin halving is upon us, right? Which would reduce their block rewards by 50%. So I mean, they have to do the necessary. It is a business, and I can see why they were selling. With all that sell pressure, we are still seeing Bitcoin doing this, okay? And because of the high demand of ETFs, and that ETF demand, I believe, will continue, and the data suggests that it probably could, because in the second quarter of 2024, it's expected that major warehouses, institutional consultants, and large corporations will be entering the space and add Bitcoin exposure. So that will continue to drive the price up, guys. Historically, once we started moving up like this from this line, we have seen it go up way high, and we don't touch it again until basically the bull run is over. So it's interesting. We are well on our way. It's interesting to see how that's going to play out. Bitcoin has shifted a little bit, changed a little bit, and what's going on, and that has to do, and how it's moved historically. It's ahead of schedule by 200 days. I'm sure you've heard of that by now. And that has to do with the ETFs, and will that continue, or at some point we're going to see a drawdown. At some point we're going to see some sideways consolidation, some sideways action, but not yet, and I don't know if it's in the very near future either. All right, but we got to play it day by day, see what's going on there. All right, so that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Things are looking good. It's going to be good to see, hopefully, bodies closing over this line, which would now be hopefully a strong area of support and building from here. All right, so we'll leave Bitcoin there. And what I bought this week, we'll do that. I bought this GQ because signs are pointing to me to buy. It's at possibly a double bottom, right? Double bottom. It looks like hopefully we're out of this area right here. I might add a little bit more after this because I sold some. We'll get right back to this in a second. I sold this token because it pumped up like this, boom. And I've watched it. This is called crypto tanks. I watch it when it pumps, it comes back down. So I took advantage of that. I de-risked a little bit. I sold in profit, and I still have a position. I'm gonna wait to see what happens, because if it pumps, it could pump pretty high. I'm trying to catch something like this, and sell a little bit more, and see what happens. But I took some of that money, some of those gains, and put it in Galactic Quadrant GQ, because people have been talking about it. Person I know on Twitter was like, "Hey man, you gotta really check it out. It's at a good area." Okay, I checked it out. I'm looking at the chart. It's at a good area. Double bottom. That's bullish. Let's see if that is in fact the case, and this thing starts pumping it. I had a position on it previous, and I've just added. I think I bought yesterday, and I also did buy this morning, and I might buy a little bit again because I still have some capital there, and I'm really don't know exactly what to put on. I was gonna put it on Soonverse, but Soonverse, when I was talking to you guys about it down here when I was buying again, I was like, yeah, it could maybe touch this. It never really did touch this 0.0011, and it started moving up, and it's moving up pretty strongly, guys. Soonverse is interesting because they are burning about 70% of their supply. Okay, number one, they're still at like a $2 million market cap now with this move. And they are going to do a bunch of airdrops. They're going to do a bunch of airdrops if you hold your holdings in MetaMask. So I think I'm pretty much done buying. I'm like 18,000 soon away from hitting what I wanted to be my goal. That's okay. I'm cool with what I got. I'm up right now on this one, almost 100%. So I'm gonna leave it at that. However, if you have no exposure and you're still looking for a good project, hey, this is actually a good one, even at these levels, because again, it's only at a $2 million market cap. And plus, if you buy on MEXC, for example, because that's where you can buy it at, and you send it to your MetaMask, then you could qualify for airdrops, a bunch of stuff from their games and what all the other stuff that Soon is going to give you just for holding. Wow, look at this little pump, almost 3 cents right now. And so I'm very bullish on this project, and I've been mentioning it to you guys over and over. I hope you guys are listening. Hope you guys are listening. Now let's move on, because I've been requested to take a look at these 3 projects. by a viewer in the Spanish community. All right, so next one, Tectum. All right, looking like we're getting out of this triangle, right? We're getting out of this triangle, and we haven't tested it yet, back tested it, but maybe we don't need to. Maybe from here it's going to move up, and it's been in this triangle since the beginning of January. All right, so it is due, and eventually it's going to explode up. I'm very bullish on this project. This is where I bought it, where I was bringing it to people's attention, $4.61, and now we're at $35, and I think this thing is going to start pumping soon because this is looking pretty bullish. Now it could be that it goes back in here, but it doesn't have much space anymore. Okay, and because of the way things are looking in the market, my bias is towards the upside. So I think from here this thing can really rip up. So it's still at a good buy zone. Tectum is one. Another one is Trias. I always talk about this one. This is a very, very high conviction, and this one hasn't launched yet from this, right? After this big pump, big consolidation, long consolidation, we are in this, what is this, kind of like a small little megaphone in the structure, and just not being able to rip through here. But interestingly, right, 3rd of March, we tried. It was a fake out. We went all the way back down. Bitcoin did drop too, so that's another reason. But we came back. We stayed in it. We stayed in this structure, right? The low part, just kind of wicking. Went back up. Tried fake out again, and this time it doesn't look like we're going to go all the way back down here. All right. It seems like we're going to stay right here to make the next attempt, and maybe this next attempt will be the one where we finally break out. And when we finally break out of this area, this basically $17.35 area, we are off to the races, guys. Their mainnet, because Trias is also going to be a mainnet. They're going to have their own network. It seems like it's launched. All right, although they haven't really made an official announcement, but people who, crypto sleuths, crypto investigators are showing that it is launched, but nothing official from them. When it does become official, I'm sure this will pump too. So that's something to keep an eye out on. And another one, or AI. So right now, Trias is at a good accumulation zone to finish off, and I have high expectations for this one, guys. I have high expectations for this one. I think easily it could reach $1,000, which would only put it at a $10 billion market cap, which would be what, from current levels, that would be like a 65x or something like that, a 61x. Not too shabby, guys. A 61x. And it could even go higher, all right? But I think it'll get to $1,000. All right. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at ORAI chain, which a lot of people are starting to get really bullish on. ORAI chain, I see it talked about more and more. And as you can see, it's moved up. And as you can see, I've put in people's radar at $2.43 because that's what my average buy price is. And when I make my moves, I let it be known to my community. All right, and so ORAI chain is just steadily going up, and it looks like we are on the verge of after a few days of sideways consolidation, getting kind of not bogged down per se, because 3rd of March, 4th, 5th of March, and then a little pump up, and then a few more days of consolidation. But at $18.83 from here, I still think it has a lot more upside. How high could this one possibly go? I think I put this one up to, at an $11.1 billion market cap, it would reach $711 per ORAI chain token. All right, so that would be a pretty good gain. That would be a gain of around a 36x. Not bad. I think it's definitely doable for this project. So 36x, not bad. And remember now, because of where we are, in the cycle, it's, if you're not already invested, if you're investing now, you have to lower your expectations, and you're probably not going to hit 100x. Maybe a new project that comes in and catches fire, and some, at the Bitcoin halving have done 100x from the Bitcoin halving level forward. Okay, so I think, and one example is AVAX, if I remember correctly. So it is possible, but the probabilities to become a little bit lower. It's better if you had positioned yourself earlier in the bear market and kind of ridden out the bear market. But those of us that have ridden out and experienced that pain will get rewarded. Okay, for example, my portfolio as of this morning was up 352%, right? Because I've been accumulating throughout the bear market. But anyways, back to this ORAI chain, still at 36x, and that's a really good multiple on your money. You can't get that on the stock market, guys. All right, so crypto, like the Mandalorian would say, is the way. All right, and so this week looks to be pretty promising. Bitcoin, new all-time highs, and not much fanfare considering we've broken it like 4 times already in the last few days, as we saw. We looked at Tectum, we looked at Trias, we looked at Ori Chain. I bought GQ, which is Galaxy Quadrant, which is at basically at the lows. So if you're looking for a laggard, there's another one for you, and it is a gaming play. And we also looked at Soonburst, which looks to be pumping currently. Still at a $2 million market cap, probably a little more now. Still at a great buy. All right. I think that's it, guys. If you can, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Hope you guys have a great week ahead, but I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Tune in, same bad time, same bad channel. Have a good one. Peace.